Hi everyone, my name's Josh. I've just started learning to ride a motorbike. Picked up this 2022 Ducati Monster 659 a few months ago, and I haven't really found a lot of content on the internet around modifying it, doing bits and pieces, and I thought I'd do a bit of a vlog, cover some of the things that I'm going to be working through on this, and cover a little bit of the whole, learn to ride journey as well. So, what some people might not know, so this is what's called a LAMS bike. LAMS is a scheme in Australia and New Zealand. It's similar to the A2 version over in Europe. It basically is a power to weight ratio limitation on learner approved bikes, which means this one here is, I think from memory, around about 48 horsepower. Today we're going to go through and de-restrict it, which does technically make it not a LAMS bike, so be aware of that if you want to do this. That'll bring it up to just under 70 horsepower apparently. We'll cover off how you do it, what you go about, and the tools required, and we'll try and get some decent shots down here as we go through. Get stuck into it. Right, so what we need to do here is just pull these side pieces of trim off so it gives us better access to the throttle body, which is up under here. So just need to gently pop this bit off, which just gives you easier access under here, gives it more light. And then we have some hex keys here that we just need to undo, like so. It's quite a tight one. It's always nice working on bikes compared to cars because typically everything's very easy to get to, but obviously until you have to get under here, which is not so easy. So important to note, there is another hex key bolt under here. You just need to loosen off to allow this to come loose. And when you do take this off, you have a series of connectors that you need to disconnect to remove this fully from the body of the bike. Not particularly hard, but as fiddly as electrical connectors can normally be. But if they haven't been unplugged before, can be a little bit tight, like that one. You might need to get some leverage on it just to push the tab down and move it out. Or potentially completely give up, like I might do.
1 hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time card.
There we go. Finally, comes off. Right there. Now we need to do the other side as well, which is the same procedure. Obviously, go through and do that, and that means we're good to go. So same procedure on this side. This wee frame cover just pops off gently. Take that off, and then we have a couple of hex screws here that we need to take off, turning counterclockwise. I found the bottom one tends to be a lot more snug than the top, which is all good. It just takes a bit of time. If I had some nice T-handle hex tools, that might be easier. That's okay. And lose the bolts. Oh, this one's tight too. It's interesting, the other side was very loose. Might have to do some improvisation on getting that off. Is tweaked like a tiger. Yeah. How are we going to bring that through? Interesting one. That was very tight. Let me grab a pair of pliers and I'll come back. Right, I'm back for round 2 of using the wrong tool to do a job. That's cool. That's much easier. And I'm sure there'll be people out there cringing at this, but it works, so that's all I really care about. Although we'll probably go buy some nice T handles because this is a bit tighter than the push bikes I'm usually using these on, which is all good. That's better. Nice. It's loose now. Take that off. Cool. And just like the last one, there is a one up here just to loosen off, right underneath, which will give you access to slide this bad boy off. Look at that. Oh, cool. And we just pull that down. There we go. That was a bit tight, that one. Cool. I can pull that off. This one obviously doesn't have anything. It's got the oil cooler behind it here, so it's nice and easy to get off and get into there. So what you're trying to do basically here is get into the earbox and access to the Torx bolts under here. So we do need to remove the oil cooler from its hanger as well. So I've already unbolted that, so we'll take that off. And I'm hoping we can just slip it off the bracket there, but I don't think we can, so we'll get to undo this one too, which is fine. Undo that one. Right, we can just pop that off. And we can just let that hang out of the way. I might put a piece of wire on that just to hold it in place so it's not banging into anything. Cool, so now we can start to remove the Torx bolts from the gearbox, which will give us access to the throttle body, which has the restrictor plate on it. Now these bikes are only restricted by a throttle stop, so they don't have any ECU restriction outside of that, which makes de-restricting these a heck of a lot easier than something like a street triple or something like that. Now, the reason for taking the side plate off is because you do have some bolts up the top here, which are just kind of hard to see if you don't have it off. So it's nice to be able to visualise what you're targeting with the end of your socket here, or your Torx bit. I'll jump over and do the other side, and I won't bore you with that one. So eventually you take all the bolts off, and it does take some time to figure them all out. And you're left with the airbox, which you can jiggle out. Eventually. Like so. Move those back around. The filter looks pretty good, which it should do because it's got 1,000 kilometres on it. Just take this drain pipe off. That way. I'll leave that there. Cool. So let's have a look. Can you see in there? You can't because the horn's blocking you. But if we just go in there, you'll see that's, oops, that in there. That's the throttle body unit, which is super unfocused that we need to get through and get out. Right, let's get back to that. So if you look in here, sorry for the shaky footage, there's a couple of plugs, this one and this one, that we'll need to take out as we move it through. But to get it out, we need to first take the spring off, and that allows us to release the throttle cable, and then we can undo this hose clamp, and it all just sort of pulls out. So I'll do that off camera because it's a bit too difficult to do while I'm holding the camera, and the tripod just doesn't work. So I may have just found a bit of a shortcut. So in other information I've found people take this whole unit out, which, you know, you can do, but just trying with a flathead screwdriver, I can actually see this wee safety screw here is quite easy to turn. And I am aware there's a bolt on the back of it, but everything is sealed up. So I'm just going to undo that and see if I can do it without removing it. That will save a bunch of time. So I'll get into that off camera and then I'll come back. Right, public service announcement, don't do what I did and try and take it off while it's on the intake. That was an absolute nightmare. So the nut stays on and you can't really get it off behind there, and you know, you can't risk it falling into the airbox and being sucked down your throttle body. So you have to get it out and muck around for way too long to sort that out. That's the offending piece there that we need to take out. And now it's really just a matter of reassembling everything in here, and you're good to go. All right, so it's all back together now, and you can see, well, I didn't actually take a before shot, but you've got full range on the throttle now. It should be a bit quicker, which is good because I'm not the lightest. So it's all done. You can't really tell from the sound of it while it's standing still that it's any different, really. I'll cut in some clips of giving a bit of a rev, but I did just take it for a ride. It feels like it should be. Like, I don't know if you guys, if you've owned one of these, you'll probably understand. It does feel like there's no point revving it out because it gets to about 6,000 RPM and then just makes noise and doesn't really go anywhere. It's much better now. Definitely get a lot of induction noise from the intake now that you didn't before when it opened up. And for someone like me who's 100 kg, it makes a big difference. It actually gets up and goes now how I kind of expected it to. Before it was a little bit lacking on the motorway. And I know technically it's not lambs anymore now, but I don't really care. It's how I'd like it now. I will try and get some GoPro, once I get it mounted for my helmet, footage of riding it, that sort of thing. There's a few other bits and pieces I'm going to be doing. Not a fan of the mirrors, as no one is on these things, so I'll be swapping those out for some bar ends, putting a pipe on it to make it a little bit noisier, which will be good. And I'm going to be doing some of the Ride Forever training courses in the next couple of months, so I'll try and get some footage of those as well, and I'll include a list of the tools required to do the work we did here today on this. Cool. Well, I'll see you in the next video.